I'm Shahnaaz Suffla. I'm affiliated with the UNISA Institute for Social and Health Sciences and its Violence, Injury and Peace Research Unit, which is co-directed by the South African Medical Research Council. I'm a senior researcher in the unit. I am aligned, or my work is particularly located within the Institute's community engaged research portfolio, and equally in the unit's Trans-Disciplinary African Psychologies program. So I find myself situated within both these programs, which makes for an interesting synergy and exchange in terms of the violence prevention and safety and peace promotion work in which I'm involved. So for me, African Psychologies fundamentally implies a shift in the locus of understanding, of knowledge making, repositioning in ways that, I guess, situate epistemology, ontology very squarely and very unambiguously in an African context. I think about it as a kind of braiding. That if African Psychologies is a way of understanding the world, our world, differently, then by implication, in my role as a community engaged researcher, I'm obliged, in fact, I'm held accountable in ways that align and cohere with and respect that the attempts, the efforts of the collectives in which I work and with which I work in the Institute, to change the knowledge assumptions and the knowledge axioms that we draw on to make knowledge, to build knowledge, and then to act on knowledge. So the issues of relationality, of solidarity, of accountability, of ethics, for me are really, really crucial if we think about the role of African Psychologies, but also, as I keep bringing it back to the reference point of the community engaged research in which I do, that it has to, that the work that we do has to be located within the intersections of theory, praxis, ethics. And if it is founded, or if it is situated, informed by ways of thinking about being and doing in the way that I've been talking about, I think that brings it together for me in terms of the braiding. I have to tell you that African Psychologies is not necessarily wholly, as in completely, underpinning of all the research that I do. Does that make sense? So it's very much a part of it because it is my lens. It's what informs my thinking. It's what's meaningful for me. It's what gives me an anchor for my scholarship or for my activism. But at the same time, I think I'm very alert to the possibilities that African Psychologies offer, but also the limits that one has to engage with and work with in the different research contexts in which certainly I find myself. I think what we do really well is we are prepared to take risks at epistemic levels, at relational levels, at personal levels, at institutional levels, and there's a kind of subversion that is knitted into that risk-taking that I think is essential for the kinds of changes that we seek and that we have some successes with. I think that we position ourselves as knowledge makers that don't hold expert knowledge on what we do, but we are one collective of knowledge producers. I think we're prepared to accept that we are not experts, that knowledge making is co-produced, and I think we have learned to live with this very unstable relationship that exists between us working within a hegemonic knowledge system, but at the same time resisting and pushing back this very system to create alternative ways of knowing and representing knowledge and ourselves, I guess, the Institute.